Back at Woodman Field, Montclair, the scene for today's lacrosse action between two undefeated teams. Columbia on the season is 8-0. They are currently ranked first in the state. Montclair 10-0. They are ranked second at the present time. Starters for today's action, first of all for the Montclair Mounties. Starting in the attack. As you look across the way at Montclair will be Ross Weimer, Phil Graham, and Matt Riley. In the midfield, it will be John Shaw, although you may see him as an attacker, Jim O'Grady, and Carlisle Heath. Defensively for the Mounties, it will be Brian Jenkins, Peter DiGeronimo, Randy Doran. In the goal, Mike Pounds, who will probably be in goal throughout the first half, and we'll probably see Pilot come on in the second half of play. For the Cougars, starting on the attack, and it's a devastating one, Paul Ammerman, Joe Perez, and Peter Strauss. In midfield play, veterans Steve Darwin, Rich Glancy, and Jimmy Sheridan. And defensively and in the goal, it will be All-Stater Don Richardson, second-team All-Stater Eddie Lewis, Don Ward, and in the goal will be Dave Casamano. The referees for today's action will be Mike Corcoran and Warren Kimber. And both teams getting last-minute instructions. Montclair will be in the red tops with the white shorts, and Columbia in the red tops with the white shorts. Montclair will be in the white shirts and the white shorts. Gorgeous day for lacrosse. Temperature about 75, 80 degrees. There is a breeze, but that's really a welcome breeze on a day like today.
Yes, the athletes will welcome that breeze. As far as the fans are concerned, they would like to have the rays coming down to get a little suntan. But the players will welcome that breeze coming over the top.
On the season, Columbia is 8-0. They defeated Clark 12-2, Summit 10-7, over Pingree 13-4, and over Clifton 14-8. They continued along by defeating Livingston 12-4, knocked down Petty 12-2, wiped out Princeton 11-2, and then defeated Huntington Central 12-3. And as you see from that graphic, they are currently ranked #1 in the state.
Bruce, this will probably be the first time that Columbia has been really tested this year. As you look at the scores on the screen there, most of the games they really blew everybody out. And again, Montclair should give them a run for their money today.
Bob Curcio felt that the best team to play against Columbia was a very improved Summit club.
Yes, we thought the same thing. They gave Montclair a good game.
So here we go. Carlisle Heath fighting off with Richie Glancy. And the ball still loose on the ground, controlled by the Cougars. That's Jim Sheridan, number 40. And Columbia goes into their offensive attack. They start with their first midfield group. That's Glancy, number 25, senior captain. Has played varsity for 3 seasons, and he's a real good one. Glancy makes a move on Heath, looking for the shot, still carrying, gets off the bounce shot, it goes wide, and it will still be Columbia ball.
Number 25, Rich Clancy, had an isolation situation there. Tried to take a man one-on-one, shot the ball on the ground.
This is Paul Ammerman being watched by DiGeronimo. Ball loose on the ground momentarily. DiGeronimo comes away with it. Pete, an outstanding defensive player, a senior, also plays for the football squad, gets it back to Mike Pounds.
Montclair's going to set up there clear. Columbia sets back into a zone ride.
Pounds takes his time, throws it off to Carlisle Heath. Leads the club with 30 points on the season. Heath drops it off to Brian Jenkins.
Take it back and start all over again.
This is Pounds. Peter Strauss right on top of Montclair as they look to clear. Back to Pounds. And so far, Montclair having a lot of trouble working it out of their own end.
They're being patient. There's no rush. They can take the time. The idea is not to throw the ball away, and if they do, then it's Columbia's ball, and their ride has worked effectively.
Heath being watched closely by Glancy. Heath gets by Glancy and crosses the center line. Heath attacking. Throws it off on the right side. That's John Shaw. Shaw circling behind the cage, being watched closely by Don Ward. Shaw gets it back out to O'Grady. O'Grady to McKee in the slot. Got off a weak shot, handled easily by Casamano.
The goalie looked at the pitch clears. The defenseman's having a hard time picking up the loose ball.
Now Columbia across midfield. This is Sheridan. Jimmy, a senior, 6 goals, 3 assists on the season. He will attend Rutgers next year. Sheridan also played in the football squad, was an Essex County Scholar athlete this past season. Sheridan inside the restraining box. Bounce shot handled easily by Pounds.
Pounds looked up the field, looked for the pitch clear, couldn't find it, turns it off and lays it off to the side to Brian Jenkins, number 17.
Jenkins being watched by Peter Strauss. Strauss on the season for Columbia, 19 goals and 5 assists for 24 points.
Now Pounds just called out the clear that they're going to use to bring the ball over the midfield line.
Randy Dorr gets it back to Pounds. Now Dorr cuts on the near side. That's Brian Jenkins. Jenkins looking to come out of his own end. Across the center line. Montclair on the attack. Jenkins has McKee to his left. Jenkins still controlling. Now he goes all the way back outside to Shaw. In the center, move there by Jimmy O'Grady. He's in, the bounce shot, save made, and a beauty by Casamano. And it's cleared off to the right side.
Nice dodge by Jim O'Grady.
Glancy goes down. Ball picked off by Ross Weimer. Finally gotten back by Columbia. And Glancy wisely goes back to his goaltender, Dave Casamano. Casamano, a senior, 67% saves percentage this year. Has allowed only 2 points, 6 goals a game.
Montclair is using what we call an on-rod, Bruce. The idea is to pick up your man very quickly so they can't find the open man.
Eddie Lewis loses the ball, and Carlisle Heath has it back.
Effective on-rod for Montclair.
Lancy on Heath. That's an excellent matchup. We'll have to watch it most of the day. Heath still with the ball. Gets it over to McKee. McKee making his move. Bumped off the play momentarily by Sheridan. McKee's in. He gets off a bounce shot. Shaw behind the cage. Shot deflected nicely by the Columbia defense. And Glancy on top of it for the Cougars.
We got a running gun game this so far, Bruce. Nobody's being able to control the ball for any length of time.
Montclair's had a couple good opportunities. Columbia really hasn't worked it in their offensive zone.
Very true. They have been. Had the chances, but haven't taken advantage of it.
Steve Darwin for the Cougars. Darwin on the left side to Perez. Joe makes a move. Good defensive play by Jenkins. Back out. Waiting and scoring is Peter Strauss, and it's a 1-0 Cougar lead. For Peter Strauss. That is goal number 20 on the season.
I think there was a slight mix-up there, Bruce. I think that somebody left their man uncovered, standing all alone. He faked up and had plenty of time to find his spot.
Let's watch it once again on the replay.
Here we see, again, a pass off to the left of the cage. He starts to bring it in, passes out, nobody playing him, shoots it up high and in.
Strauss took a lot of time, waited for the opening, and then put it home.
Good composure.
So the Cougars break out early, 1-0, with just 1 minute gone by here from Woodman Field.
Face-off, a ball-controlling factor here. Kurt Levine comes up with the loose ball.
Levine being watched tightly by Fiorini. Gets the pass ahead. This is Jeff Cobb. Cobb, the bounce shot, deflected, almost hard to handle. Casamano comes up with it, and Shaw right on the doorstep. Legal procedure call. It will be Columbia ball.
The call was there that one of the Montclair players interfered with the goalie with the ball under his control in the net, in the crease. You cannot do that. He has 3 seconds to get out of the crease with the ball or pass it from there.
Dave Casamano behind his own cage. Pass over the head of Quentin Tuck, but controlled at midfield by Don Ward.
On the head penalty, flag is thrown by the official.
Delayed penalty, and now we get the call.
And on the field comes Montclair's man-down team, and Columbia will put in their man-up team.
So the first advantage situation, and it belongs to Columbia. There's number 23, Peter DiGeronimo. Fine defenseman for the Mounties.
Bruce, so these are one of the breaks of the game. Right now, Columbia has an extra man. Playing Montclair, playing one man short. If you can't take advantage of these, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win a ball game.
Jim O'Grady in the penalty box for Montclair. And here go the Cougars. Behind the cage, that's Perez. That's where he likes to play. Gets it out to Peter Strauss. Strauss bumped off the play by Todd Robinson. Now Strauss goes back to Perez. Jenkins on Perez. Outside it goes to Glancy. Glancy reverses it to the right side to Mike Fiorini.
Montclair's playing a zone.
Aaron pass, loose on the ground. Glancy diving for it. Fighting for it along with John Shaw. Loose at midfield. still on the ground. Finally picked up and knocked out of play. So wild sequence, no one able to control the ball.
The ball belongs to Montclair. Again, a loose ball situation. Columbia could not come up with the ground ball. Montclair came up with it. They got the ball right now. And if they can get the ball over the restraining line into the box, Montclair can release the man who caused the penalty a few seconds ago. And they're back to even up. Carlisle Heath, one of the best midfielders in the state, has got the ball.
Heath putting it in play. Off to Jimmy O'Grady. Back to Heath. He's got Ross Weimer behind the cage. Heath making the move to the cage. The shot, and just wide. Weimer closest to the ball as it went out of play. It will still be Mountie ball.
Showing that Carlisle Heath is a good midfielder. You notice he went to his right, came back with his left, and shot it with his left. To be a good lacrosse player, you have to be able to use both hands.
Weimer to John Shaw. Shaw being watched by Donnie Ward.
He's looking to feed.
Heath open in front of the cage. He scores! One game. Carlisle Heath doing a couple of good moves in front of the cage, and the Mounties have come back quickly. They were in a man-down situation, then they went back to normal, and let's watch that goal once again. Here's Ross Weimer behind the cage, and he'll set things up.
Ross passes behind the cage to John Shaw. Looks for the pass. Carlisle cuts to the goal and pass, shot, and score.
Good cradling motion to his left.
Yes, very good, very good. That's what you're looking for when a attackman goes behind the goal. He's looking for the cutters, and he's looking to feed the ball to a cutter cutting through.
So Heath gets the goal, 1-1 the score, and it should be a good one today. Loose ball midfield, nobody picks it up. Still on the ground, fighting for it, Quentin Tuck of Columbia, but it's controlled by McKee. McKee inside the restraining box has Shaw on his right. Now McKee elects to slow down, circle a little bit to his left side, being watched closely by Mike Fiorini. This is Carlisle Heath.
Even though everybody's keeping their eye on Carlisle Heath and Rich Clancy, number 13.
Heath again with a goal. Oh my, underneath Dave Casamano, and it's quickly a 2-1 game.
Beautiful shot by Carlisle Heath. He placed it right where it should be, down on the ground. The goalie was expected to bounce up, but it didn't come up.
Let's watch it again.
Pass is given to Carlisle. He takes it from the left, brings it to the right. Beats his man, shoots it on the ground, bounces up inside the cage.
You were talking about the fact that you can't leave one man alone for a minute, but he's the kind of guy, no matter what, Homer, you can't leave him alone.
That's for sure.
Control in midfield by Todd Robinson. Montclair has the momentum in the early 2-1 lead.
Montclair is controlling the ball, which is the key to this game. The team that can control the ball will be the team that will probably win. Montclair staying on the offensive end of the field. If that's the case, then Columbia cannot score a goal.
Todd Robinson back to Shaw. Shaw makes his move in front of the cage, gets the shot just wide. Controlled by Eric Asserson. Montclair keeps the pressure on. Asserson circling behind the cage, looking in front. Gets the pass to Shaw. Shaw's shot, bounce shot, it's in! Asserson made the play. John Shaw comes up with a goal. Bedlam in Woodman Field. It's a 3-1 game, and Columbia calls for a time.
Bruce, Montclair are getting their shots, and that's the key also to this game. They got to get their shots when they're on the offensive end of the field.
Let's take one more look at that last goal.
Around behind the cage, Asserson looking to feed. He feeds out to John Shaw, makes a nice catch. He shoots it on the ground, bounces up inside.
Asserson, who's been the playmaker, had 3 assists in the last Montclair game, comes up with another one today. Shaw picks up the goal, and he really only had one free hand, and he got off the scoop shot underneath goaltender Casamano, and it's a 3-1 game. Momentum, Homer, most definitely in Montclair's favor.
Very true, and that's why Coach Curcio called a timeout. He had to settle things down, call a timeout, try to break Montclair's momentum, trying to find out what's going on out there on the field, make some adjustments, come back out and play a harder game once the game starts again.
Cougars have won 25 in a row, 17 in a row last year in capturing the state crown, 8 this year. And they're looking for number 26, which will not be too easy, especially at Woodman Field.
At the same time that Coach Bob Curcio was having his timeout, Coach Weber was over there talking to his players, telling them to keep shooting, keep controlling the ball, move the ball around, hit the open man, and get your shots.
Montclair coming up with 3 goals within about 2 minutes. We don't have the benefit of the running time here at Woodman, but that was a very fast sequence. 3 goals, Heath, and then Shaw. Montclair leads 3-1. Face off at midfield, Carlisle, Heath, and Rich Glancy. Ball still loose on the ground, controlled by Sheridan of Columbia. Cougars looking to set up now. This is Glancy.
Now, Columbia should play a slow-down game right here. They should control the ball down to this end of the field, make Montclair feel that they don't own the ball. If they can keep the ball down this end of the field for a little period of time, they'll find out that maybe the momentum will change.
Joe Perez spinning, controlling the ball, looking at the cage, gets by 1 man, but still being bumped. Good defense by Brian Jenkins.
Top defenseman in the state. Perez was one of the top attackmen in the state. You have a nice matchup there.
Perez pass to Sheridan, loose on the ground. DiGeronimo comes up with the ball. DiGeronimo across midfield. Gets the pass to Shaw. Mounties in the unsettled situation. Delayed penalty coming up left side. O'Grady inside, shoots and scores! Jimmy O'Grady, and Montclair leads 4-1.
The loose ball by Peter DiGeronimo set that up. Even though he didn't get assist on it, he was in good position. He made the pass up to John Shaw. He laid it off to Jim O'Grady.
Let's take one more look at O'Grady's goal. This is DiGeronimo now.
Right, he brings the ball over the midfield line, hits John Shaw on the left. Shaw runs and carries, passes off to Jim O'Grady. He dodges 1 man, shoots it on the ground, finds the inside of the net.
O'Grady from Shaw. The Mounties have reeled off 4 unanswered goals. They lead 4-1. And everything going in their favor right now, and you have to think that Dave Casamano is losing a little bit of confidence after allowing a couple of goals that maybe he normally would have stopped.
Very true, Bruce. Every shot that Montclair's taken so far has gone in the net. He's got to make a save to get his confidence back.
Loose in midfield, controlled there by Quentin Tuck of Columbia. He's hit hard. A good play by Shaw. Ball is picked off by Ross Weimer to Eric Asserson. Montclair again. Asserson slows down.
Right now, Montclair's playing a ball control game.
Asserson shot, save made. Casamano knocked it away. Chasing it down is Mike Fiorini. And a legal procedure called against Montclair will be Columbia ball. First quarter of play. Midway through, and it's a 4-1 Montclair lead. I'm Bruce Beck, along with me, Homer Robinson, bringing you all the action in this game for the 2nd annual Gil Gibbs Memorial Trophy from Woodman Field in Montclair. This is Don Richardson. Richardson gets the pass ahead to Quentin Tuck across the center line. Tuck gets it over to Fiorini. Mike is just a junior, 5 goals, 8 assists on the season. Right side, Paul Ammerman. Ammerman making the move. Goes behind the cage, now comes back this way, has Perez behind, bumped by DiGeronimo again. Right near the line, big pile up, and now we get a whistle. And it will be Montclair ball. DiGeronimo's been outstanding so far today.
Yes, he's playing a very good game, the best I've seen him play all year. And this is what Montclair has to do. They're going to need a few players to play above what they've been doing so far to take Columbia.
Brian Jenkins off to Kurt Levine, back to Jenkins. Montclair no rush at the present time. They don't want to commit a costly error, leading by a score of 4-1 and holding the momentum at the present time. This is Mike Pounce.
Now again, with the lead belonging to Montclair, Montclair should slow it down, take it easy, work the ball. They have time and the score on their hands. Columbia sitting back in a zone ride.
That's Pounds. Gets it back to Jenkins. Houston Weber, coach of Montclair in his 2nd season, directing traffic from the sidelines. Pounds circles behind the cage again. Ammerman in front of the crease for Columbia. And now we get a whistle. That is the end of the first quarter of play. The score, Montclair 4, Columbia 1. We'll be back with more lacrosse action from Woodman Field in Montclair in just a moment. 4-1 the score. Montclair off 2 goals by Carlisle Heath, one by John Shaw, one by O'Grady. 4 unanswered goals, and that's the way we stand at the present time. Columbia's lone goal in that first period of play was by Peter Strauss. Montclair on the season is 10-0. Win over South Clarkston and Lawrenceville in a close game. 10-1 victory over Livingston, over Nyack, New York, 7-6 over Hunterton Central by a count of 3-1. Victories over Summit, that 1-goal game in overtime seen here on TV3. 4-goal win over Petty and Pingree. And then a victory over West Morris and a whitewashing of Hanover Park. The Mounties are undefeated. They are ranked 2nd in the state.
Bruce, during the timeout, I think Coach Curcio probably would have said in the huddle about telling the kids that 1 quarter doesn't make a ball game. They still got 3 more to play. They should settle down, get their composure. It's the first tough ball game they had this year, so go back to our game and play the game.
Carlisle Heath and Rich Glancy will face at midfield. Montclair in the white jerseys, Columbia in the red. Glancy wins the draw. Columbia hasn't had the ball that much in the offensive end. Glancy makes a good move. Glancy shot. Save made, deflected in front of the cage by Pounds. Picked off by Heath. Back to Pounds.
Nice save by Pounds.
I imagine, Homer, with a 4-1 lead and the fact that they're playing Columbia, Montclair will be in no rush to clear out of their own end.
Very true, Bruce. They shouldn't be in a big rush. Use the clock. Take their time. Columbia's got to be the one who's be a little bit panicking about this time. If they can just keep their cool, move the ball, control the ball, and as long as it's their ball, they can't score.
Brian Jenkins. Jenkins, a senior defenseman, along with DiGeronimo, they form a super tandem. This is Pounds looking to clear it out of his zone. Gets it off to DiGeronimo, deflects off the stick. It's loose near the center line, picked off by McKee. Montclair looking to attack again. Loose ball, picked off by Asserson in front of the cage. O'Grady shot goes just wide. Closest to the ball is John Shaw, and it will be Montclair ball.
Montclair's playing very well in the loose ball situation.
Substitutions now as Columbia sends on a fresh midfield group, as does Montclair. Quentin Tuck, Ben Cuso, and Mike Fiorini check on for the Cougars. This is Shaw. Work it outside to Carlisle Heath. Weimer right around the crease. This is Shaw, the shot, save made. Good save by Casamano. Gets the pass to Kurt Levine. I'm sorry, to Don Richardson. Richardson across the center line. Richardson quickly ahead. Loose in front, shot deflected just
nice
wide.
Save by Pounds.
Good opportunity for Peter Strauss, but he couldn't find the cage, and Jenkins comes up with the loose ball. Long pass, right on target though, to Butch Covello. Covello to Shaw, ground shot deflected again by Casamano, who's made a couple of outstanding saves in a row.
I think
loose
he has
ball picked off by Fiorini.
I think he's got his confidence back, Bruce.
Fiorini
He's playing like he knows he can.
loses the ball. Good hit by Carlisle Heath. Here comes Columbia. This is Dan Tepper. Tepper to Peter Strauss. Strauss looking to set up. Now he circles, cuts back, loses it momentarily. Strauss controls, gets by one man. Strauss' shot, save made. Good one by Pounds, loose in front. Pounds able to control.
Nice save again by Pounds. Pounds is playing a very good game this afternoon.
At the present time, Columbia is getting only one shot.
That's true.
Nothing is bounding out, nothing is loose in front of the cage. Pounds is controlling, and he's getting a lot of support from Jenkins and DiGeronimo. Jenkins handles the ball, being watched closely by Dan Tepper.
I think, Bruce, that was one of the problems with Casamano before. He wasn't making a clean save. He was stopping the ball, but the ball was being kicked out of the crease. And Montclair was able to get to fight for the loose ball and come up with it again and get a second shot or a second opportunity.
DiGeronimo back to Pounds. Montclair 4, Columbia 1. Second quarter of play. Jenkins Montclair looking to get it out of their own zone. Jenkins makes a good move. Jenkins inside the restraining box. Off to Shaw, delayed penalty. Shaw's shot goes wide, out of play. And another penalty called against Columbia, much to the dismay of Coach Bob Curcio. Offside's the calls, 30-second penalty coming up. So once again, the Mounties will have the man up. The Cougars will be a man down.
And Montclair will either set up a play or they will move the ball as fast as they can, trying to find the open man.
Steve Darwin will serve the penalty for the Cougars.
Montclair also has their best stick handling team on it, the guys that can pass and catch the best.
That's Eric Asserson. 30-second advantage coming up for Montclair. Asserson gets the pass off to Levine. Levine to Carlisle Heath. Dan McKee. Back to Heath. Heath makes the move. Shoots. Deflected. Good defensive play by Don Ward. Back outside the restraining box. Glancy picks it up. Cougars moving quickly in an unsettled situation. Glancy gets a move to his left, loses control of the ball. Perez digs it up to Glancy.
Columbia doing an excellent job of breaking the penalty situation, killing the penalty.
This is Dan Teppert circling behind the cage. Both teams back at equal strength. Darwin is back on. Outside it goes to Strauss. Glancy comes over and gets a new stick, so the Cougars slow down. Strauss to Glancy. Glancy drops it back to Steve Darwin. Cougars with their first midfield on the field at the present time. Darwin working on McKee. Darwin pass in front, nobody there, goes out of play. It will be Montclair ball. Fresh midfielders on for both clubs. And Montclair will look to clear it out of their zone. Once again, to explain the basic rule in that last play, for those of you who are watching lacrosse for the first time, if it's a shot on goal, the team that is closest to the ball when it goes out of play will get possession. But if it just is fighting for a loose ball near midfield or any other part of the field, whoever last touches it, it will be the other team's ball. This is Peter DiGeronimo. Passes quickly ahead to Jeff Cobb. Cobb to Shaw. John Shaw, senior, also plays soccer and wrestling. This is Eric Asserson, also a soccer player. Asserson circling behind the cage, looking for somebody in front. Asserson bumped off the play, loses control, regains. Todd Robinson, just outside the box. Montclair again, very patient on offense. Robinson, the bounce shot just wide, and it will still be Mountie ball.
Montclair is getting their 1 and 2 shots on the goal.
This is Asserson. Hands off to Shaw. Asserson remains behind the cage, out to Todd Robinson. Kurt Levine. Levine drops it momentarily, hit hard by Vinny Cuso. Cuso comes up with the ball. Fine check by Vinny. Clearing it out of the zone quickly to Don Ward, but Ward losing control of the ball. Legal hit, 1 minute to call. And I believe this penalty will be against Montclair.
Yes, I think this is their first man down situation, Bruce.
So let's see if the Cougars can capitalize, trailing 4-1. There has been no scoring here in the second quarter of play. All the goals coming in the first quarter, but the first opportunity for Columbia to take advantage of the extra man. And going into the box will be McKee of Montclair. There's your score. Perez to Glancy. Works it on the right side to Darwin.
Montclair's playing a zone, as most teams do.
Glancy gets the pass in front of the cage. Ammerman couldn't get the shot away. Ball loose on the ground.
Opportunity was there. He was wide open.
Ball still loose. Behind the cage, coming up with the loose ball, Steve Darwin in front. Oh, a wild open opportunity. Fiorini was sitting on the doorstep. Nobody was there. Ball goes out of play, and it will be Montclair ball. So the Cougars again with 2 opportunities and again unable to capitalize. As the wind kicks up here at Woodman Field in Montclair, the Mounties still clinging to that 4-1 lead off 2 goals by Carlisle Heath, 1 by John Shaw, and 1 by Jimmy O'Grady. The lone Columbia tally, first goal of the game with just 1 minute gone, was scored by Peter Strauss, his 20th of the season. Carlisle Heath will put it in play for the Mounties. He goes back to Peter DiGeronimo.
He's going to take him behind the cage, back to the far side, and they're going to try to bring it up the opposite side of the field.
All the way out there, Paul Weimer. Back to Pounds. DiGeronimo. Jenkins losing control, and it goes out of play, so Columbia will have a good opportunity taking over deep in the Montclair zone.
Again, effective ride by Columbia caused that turnover.
So Montclair playing a little bit cautious. Sometimes that can work against you.
Exactly. You lose your momentum, you started worrying about things that don't have any concern about the game.
Joe Perez will play it for the Cougars behind the cage. Jenkins lined up on top of him, and here we go. Mike Fiorini in front. Darwin. Whistle called. Legal hold against Montclair. Columbia will still have possession. Columbia looking for the passes in front, but so far they haven't been able to get off a good, solid shot. A lot of the shots just have kind of fallen out of the web of the stick.
And part of that's due to Montclair, Bruce. The goalie, once there's a pass from behind, he will yell check. And when he yells check, each defenseman covering a man from the opposite team should check his stick. And that would, meantime, make the pass go around.
Perez, good move behind the cage. Shot deflected in front. Picked off by Peter Strauss. Strauss circling. Looking for the out pass, but it's deflected and picked off by Jenkins. Good defense by the Mounties. McKee across the center line. Unsettled situation. Here come the Mounties. McKee to Asserson. Asserson makes the move to his left. Now he slows down. McKee.
Beautiful defense play by Brian Jenkins. Came up with a loose ball, hit the long pass.
Asserson on the far side, working against Don Richardson. Asserson behind the cage. Richardson still on top of him. Asserson's pass knocked down by Kevin Bianchi, picked off by Asserson. Off the pass goes to Matt Riley. Riley back outside to Carlisle Heath, inside the restraining box. Now he goes back to John Shaw. Mounties lead 4-1, and they have dominated this first half of play.
And one of the reasons is their stick handling. They're doing a very good job of passing and catching.
Shaw's shot handled easily by Casamano, and he looks to clear. To Don Ward. Ball knocked down momentarily. It's loose. Asserson chases it. Ball still on the ground. And picked up there finally by Don Ward, who circles behind his own cage.
Montclair slides back into an off ride. Again, the difference between an on ride and off ride. Off ride, everybody settles back into a zone covering an area. On ride, each person picks up a man.
Casamano throws it off to Don Richardson. Richardson ahead to Kevin Bianchi. Bianchi makes a good move across midfield. Bianchi, the younger brother of Bob and Jimmy Bianchi. Quite a lacrosse family. There's still one more to come. Now Bianchi gets the pass off on the right side to Peter Strauss. Makes a good move. Strauss is in. The shot deflected. Paul Ammerman on top of it for the Cougars. Chased out. And it will be Montclair ball. DiGeronimo quickly coming over to add some assistance to that Mountie defense.
Some beautiful dodges in there, Bruce. Some fundamental dodges. Face dodge, one of the most effective little dodges there is in lacrosse. Not fancy, but it's very effective.
Both teams trade off on midfield units. Pounds behind the cage. It'll be interesting to see if Pounds remains in the game, or if, as usual, Bill Pilot will come on in the second half for Coach Houston Weber's club. Pounds gets it off to DiGeronimo. Offside called. And it will be Columbia ball. Offside called against the Mounties. Winding down here in the first half of play. There has been no scoring here in the second period. Montclair leads 4-1. Rich Glancy gets it off to Sheridan. The shot, save.
Beautiful save by Mike Pounds.
Loose and a goal.
That's a garbage goal, but hey, Columbia will take anything they can get at this time in the ball game.
Perez came up with the loose ball and put it in the cage. It's a 4-2 game, and that's what aggressive checking will do for you in the offensive end. The real opportunity came for Jimmy Sheridan, who got off the shot, but then the ball just squirted loose. Let's watch it once again as Perez comes up with his 14th tally of the year.
We had the ball on the left side of the cage. It's kicked out, nice save by Pounds. No, Montclair couldn't come up with the ball.
And Perez picked it up, found the cage, and Columbia's cut the lead to 2.
Bruce, there is a situation which I spoke about earlier about making the clean save. Mike made the save, but it wasn't a clean save. He couldn't control the ball, and that's why Columbia got a second opportunity.
And that's one of the few opportunities today Columbia has gotten on the second shot.
Very true.
Montclair has been very effective in clearing it out. Part of the reason, DiGeronimo and Jenkins. 1 minute penalty coming up. It's against the Cougars. And Montclair wants a timeout. So the score 4-2 in favor of the Montclair Mounties, who have pretty much dominated this first half of play, but Perez coming up with an important goal. And I know Bob Curcio is telling his club right now to just play your game, stay tough, and the breaks will come.
Very good, Bruce. And also, Houston Weber should be telling his ball club that we're making a lot of penalties at this time. We can't afford to keep on making those kind of penalties and plan on winning this ball game. So watch your penalties, play your game, move the ball, and get the ball back on the offensive end of the field. Right now, I would say that it's about that both teams are playing even for the second quarter.
The Mounties have been an excellent lacrosse team over the years. In 1979, last year, they dropped to 13-6. In 78, they were 18-1. In 77, they recorded their best season ever under Mark Tyree, Eric Von Hoffman and company. They were 20-0, won the state championship and the coach's crown. In 76, 17-2. Back in 75, 18-1. 74, 19-2, and 73, 12-2. Undefeated seasons in 72 and 71. Back in 1970, 14-2. Montclair losing only 13 games from 1969 to 1978. Not too bad. Good crowd on hand at Woodman Field. Representatives from both the Montclair side and the Columbia side. These are two lacrosse towns. Of course, Columbia has the Maplewood Lacrosse Club, which is a major booster organization for the Cougars.
Okay, Bruce, we have Columbia in a man-up situation. Montclair man down.
This is Glancy.
Young man with the ball, made All-State last year. He's doing very well this year. What happened there was that's the end of the second half. Since Columbia had the ball, they will start the third quarter with the ball in their possession.
So that is the end of the first half of play. The score, Montclair 4, Columbia 2. We'll be back with the halftime show in just a moment. Halftime at Woodman Field in Montclair. The Mounties lead Columbia 4-2. My guest, athletic director Butch Fortunato of Montclair. What'd you think of the first half?
Well, it was a very well played first half. This first time I've seen Montclair as aggressive as they have been, and I think that that has what the difference has been. The fact that we have not given Columbia a chance to set up, and hopefully the second half will be the same way.
There's a great tradition here at Montclair as far as lacrosse is concerned. Do you find that the best athletes will go out for the sport of lacrosse and not, for instance, baseball or track?
Well, it depends. I wouldn't say that the best athletes go out for lacrosse, but some of the lacrosse players could play in other sports and don't play in other sports. We don't get as many football players, for example, who go out for lacrosse as we think should go out for the sport. But insofar as tradition is concerned, of course, you can't talk about scholastic lacrosse without mentioning the name of Gil Gibbs, who passed away a little over a year ago. And of course, this game in part is really a tribute to the work that he particularly did in sponsoring high school lacrosse.
How about next year's football season? Butch Fortunato's club finished 6-3 this year. What can we expect from your club this coming season?
Another hard season. We play some of the best teams in the state. Our schedule is probably the toughest schedule in the state. For example, Brick had to drop us from the schedule, and the only team really that we could get to fill the spot was Rawway, who has won 20 of its last 21 games. It's hard to look ahead. You don't know, first of all, what the relative strength of the other teams are going to be. If you could tell me that Westfield is going to be down, if you could tell me that Barringer is not going to be as strong, I could give you some idea. If you want my outlook on next year's team, I think that we'll be a little faster than we were this year. I think that we will be as good as we were this past season, but whether the other teams are going to be better or as good or the same is hard to determine.
Well, Butch, we enjoyed working here at Montclair's Woodman Field as always today, and we wish you the best of luck to your football team next season.
Thank you very much, Bruce. We're always glad to have you here.
Butch Fortunato, the athletic director at Montclair. Coming over here right now is Robert Hurd, who you may remember from the basketball season. Bobby has announced he will attend Fairfield University. Congratulations. And what made you decide on Fairfield?
Well, you know, the coach had everything set up for me, and he gave me a lot of benefits, and it's a nice school too. You know, academically wise, it's sound, so nice schedule, and so I'm looking for good things to come up. So that's why I picked it.
Fairfield's coached by Freddie Barakat, who's been a coach there for many seasons. Was he influential in your decision?
He's very influential to my decision, because a lot of times I was questioned, you know, on how good, you know, others thought I was and everything. You know, he gave me a lot of confidence, and you know, I like that album. He gave me a lot of confidence, so that's why I stuck with him.
Are we going to hear a lot from Bobby Hurt in the future?
Yes, I hope so. I hope so, yes.
Okay, Bobby, thanks for stopping by. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My guest at halftime, Bobby Hurt and Butch Fortunato. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment from Woodman Field.